Hello and happy summer. In this video, we're gonna be talking about how to plan out your summer so that you can be both productive and non-productive and have just like a really good time. If you are new around here, the reason I'm making this video is because I make videos for specifically like teachers who also have businesses. So this video is really geared towards people who are teachers, have the summer off, so have, you know, a good 2 months of not going to full-time work because we work 10 months a year and then our salaries get spread over 12 months. And we are also running businesses on the side. So this is gonna be more about like how to plan out your summer to make sure that you are moving your business forward and also getting what you need out of summer. So that's why this might be like a weird video if you're not in that category, but you're welcome to hang out with us anyway. So first of all, I apologize for any loud rain and thunder sounds going outside. I also apologize for my appearance. I was gonna go to the pool, so I didn't like do any makeup and I just like put a hair mask in and threw my hair in braids. But as you might be able to hear outside, it is like thundering and lightning and pouring down rain. So that is obviously not happening. Let me find a better situation for you here. Okay, that's a little bit better. It's also super dark, but I can't be bothered to go turn the light on. So that's kind of where we are right now. Maybe if I move it a little bit, it'll be a little brighter. Better? No. Okay, whatever. So I am on my first like official day of summer break. My school got out for teachers on Friday. That was our last day. And so that means that then today is the Tuesday after Memorial Day. So Memorial Day everyone has off, so I don't really count that as like the official start of summer. Today's the official start of summer. I actually just got home from Disney World, so I'm kind of in this weird like coming home from vacation, starting summer, like everything's just a little bit off. I really wanted to just like sit down and kind of get the thoughts in my brain out of my brain. And that is the number one thing I can tell you is anytime you're going to plan, the biggest thing is just to get the thoughts out of your brain and onto a piece of paper, onto a list, whatever it is, so that you can actually make some progress. So what you'll need for this is honestly just some kind of notebook and preferably a cup of coffee and maybe a snuggly dog who is not happy about all the thunder, which is weird because she's not normally scared of thunderstorms, but it is really loud. So it might just be because of the intensity of this one, but here we are. And then you just get to work. Now, the first thing you should know is that I have been keeping lists upon lists for the last couple months of all of the things that I want to do. And so about like mid-April, I start making lists of like, what do I want to do? And I like starting that early because that gives me enough time to really think things through, because sometimes I change my mind. And that gives me time to really think it through so that I have time to change my mind if I would like to change my mind. So I have just like lists of products, lists of blog posts, lists of videos, just like list upon lists, all in separate notebooks. So the first thing I did is I just went and grabbed all of the notebooks where I've just been writing all the like scraps of paper when I'm at school and I'm like, oh, I should do this, oh, I should do this. And I just grabbed all that stuff and pulled it together and just started sorting through it. So just in my notebook, I love these Redone notebooks because one, they're like huge, and two, they're just really cute. And so I just literally made categories. So I made like a focus category and then a category for each different part of my business. So I have, you know, like my Becca's Music Room, Teachers Pay Teachers store. I also have my other Teachers Pay Teachers store for my Bible resources. I also have this YouTube channel. I have like 75 YouTube channels. So I have like different sections of my business. If that is not you, first of all, kudos because you are much smarter than I am. Two, then your categories might be things like products to create, blog posts to write, social media posts to make, like those kind of things. And so just first of all is just take all of those ideas. If you don't already have them just written somewhere, then go ahead and just brain dump them and then separate them out into categories so that you can see them a little bit more plainly. So far I have, like an insane amount of things on here that, let's be honest, is not actually going to get done. And that's okay, because this is your first draft. This is just like me going through and thinking through ideas and all of that. I wanted to do this before summer started, but I'm kind of glad I waited till this week, because I feel like this week I have more of like, even just today being like the first day of summer, I just feel like I have so much more brain space from not having to worry about work, not having to worry about kids, not having to worry about lesson planning, like any of that kind of stuff. I just have so much more space in my brain to actually think of things, and like I'm so excited because now I've like come up with really fun ideas, and like even to the point of like I've thought of like really cool ideas for like Halloween and Thanksgiving and Christmas and next year, and so I'm like already excited about those things. So yeah, those things I did put in a separate place because I'm not gonna work on them over the summer, although that would probably be a good idea, but you know, there we are. So first step is just to get everything out of your brain onto paper. Second step is to kind of categorize all of those things. So I'm gonna finish this up a little bit and I'll check back in. Okay, so now that I have written out all of the things that like in a magical perfect world I would like to do, the next thing is actually to well, okay, there's two things. One is to decide what your main focus is going to be, because unfortunately even over the summer you still can't do everything, and that always shocks me when I'm not at school and I'm still like, I didn't accomplish everything on my to-do list, like I didn't get everything I want done today, and that just like blows my mind that like even if I'm not at school for 10 hours I still do not get everything done. And so I always have to really like check myself with that and be like, Becca, like it's okay if you don't finish everything, that's fine. But that being said, so first of all, pick out my focus. So maybe 1 or 2 projects is pretty realistic for this summer, and then maybe some smaller things. So I always have like a project going and then like a smaller thing going. So a project might be bashing blog posts, making a course, making like a huge set of lessons, making a really big product. Like those kind of things are more projects. Or maybe something like you know, if you're doing like a really good email opt-in, I did that last year where I made like a whole free video course for new teachers, and that was like a huge thing. And so like projects versus products. So for me, products are usually things that are quicker, they're not as intense, and that's again depending on how you look at it. Because if you're looking at your projects as like, I'm gonna make all of these products, then that's, you know, a little different. But you know, if you're making some matching games, some this and that, those things can be a lot quicker and a lot more simple. And so I like to kind of split those up. So I have like prioritizing projects, and then I have prioritizing products, because I know that I'm gonna do both. If you're not gonna do both, that's fine, but that's just how I know I like to operate and how I like to do things. The other thing that's very important when it comes to, I'm gonna set you down, the lengths I will go to avoid getting my tripod out are a little bit ridiculous. But once you have your focus figured out, then you really want to check yourself. And by that I mean, I've never done this before, but I did it this week to like really get my life together. I actually went through and wrote down every week of the summer, so I know exactly how many weeks I have. And then after I wrote them down, I blocked some stuff off, because I know that we're going on a family trip one week, and so I'm probably not getting a lot of stuff done. Okay. I also know that I already had decided I wanted to block off the first week and the last week of summer as either completely non-work weeks or like light weeks for me. And so what I mean by that is this week that I'm currently in, and then the week right before school starts, I want to be less stressed and either not do any work or just do a little bit of work. So like, I do know I need to write some emails this week. Obviously I'm filming a video, but it's like, you know, a really chill video. Like literally I'm laying here in like a blanket on the floor in a rainstorm with no makeup and a giant sit on my face. So that's something I wanted to make sure that I'm doing so that I can make sure that I'm ready to go back to school and feel more like refreshed and ready to go when that happens. So I wanted this first week off so that I can like really just, you know, enjoy and plan and think and have fun, and then hopefully be more refreshed next week. And then the same thing at the end, just like really rest right before we go back. So the reason I'm telling you that is once I blocked out my first week and my last week and then a week in the middle, I was left with only like 5.5 weeks. And although, you know, that's still like that's a good bit of time off, when I'm looking at all the things that I have written down that I would love to accomplish, that's not a lot of time to actually accomplish all of the things that are on my list. So that's why I do that, so that I can check myself and be like, oh, probably not all these things are gonna happen. Like I was also thinking like, maybe I should do a classroom decor bundle. And now I'm like, when would that happen? No earthly idea. So having that just like in black and white or purple and blue and white helps me to be like, oh, okay, I understand. The other thing I'm gonna do, which I haven't done yet, is to do a like ideal week plan. And what this is just like a little schedule of the week that does not have to be followed to a T, but just like an idea of like, hey, I might want to do these things at this time, so that I have, you know, just a rough idea of what's going to be going down. And I can also make sure, again, that I have enough time to make progress, but I'm not working too much, because I do want to work some, but not a ton. And so I'm gonna do that, and then that'll give me like more specifically what I'm going to have time for in order to make things happen. So let's do that. Okay, so I just went through and wrote down kind of like an idea of what my schedule could potentially be during the summer. And I do this every year. I don't feel the need to stick to it to a T, but it's mostly just an idea of just, I feel like having some sort of idea helps make sure that you're on track. One, make sure that you are working a little bit, make sure you're not working too much. And also, one of my biggest, this just sounds so dumb, one of my biggest goals over the summer is to not spend the entire summer on the couch watching TV, because it can be really, really tempting to just spend the whole summer laying on the couch watching TV. So I try to avoid that. And now this week, and then I told you like this week and the last week, I'm going to kind of take like, consider those my like vacation weeks. And so those 2 weeks I'm like, I can watch as much TV as I want. But on a normal day, I do not want to spend the whole time, like the whole day, watching TV, because that's just not a productive thing to do. So having like a, you know, tentative schedule gives me like, oh, well, I can go do this instead of just like laying on the couch. So doing that gives me about 1 or 2 hours in the morning to work on my projects, depending on the day and depending honestly on whether or not I go to the pool, because I like to spend most of my summer sitting at the pool when it's not storming. I'm very upset about you, by the way. So whether or not I go to the pool is a big factor in my days, because if I do, then obviously I like to go in the morning, because one, it's not as hot, and two, there's usually not as many people in the morning. It's usually pretty chill. And in the afternoon is when people come with all their little kids, and although I love kids, I also enjoy the quiet. So I do keep that in mind. And so I have like kind of 2 dual schedules, just depending on what's going on. So I have about an hour or 2 of project work, and then about 2 hours of that I can use for product creation as well, or it could be project work, or it could be home projects, because I have some stuff around the house that I would like to get done. So obviously very flexible, but that puts me working about 3 to 4 hours a day. And I think that's a very, okay amount. Like it's not so much that it's going to be overwhelming, but it's enough that it's going to move me forward and give me some time and perspective. So product wise, 2 hours a day, like if I really actually do spend 2 hours a day on products, like that can be really, really helpful and get a lot of stuff done. Project wise, 1 or 2 hours a day, I'm a little worried is not going to be enough for the projects I have going on, but I'm just going to go ahead and like use this for the moment and adjust as needed, which is a big thing in any planning that you do. Make sure you don't, like, again, don't stick to it to a T. The idea of a plan is just to have some sort of idea of what's going on so that you can try it out, and if it doesn't work, then change it. Like, it's your plan, it's your life, you can change it, that's okay. So once you get your, you know, brain dump would be number one. Like categorize everything so that you have more of a semblance of what's going on. Pick your priorities and then schedule out what, like figure out how much time you actually have to do some work. And then once you have that, then you can go about scheduling in all of those things that you have written down into your summer. So that's the other reason I like to do the weekly play-by-play, so that I have, one, I know exactly how much time I have, and then two, I can go through, and actually I already did this, but I go through and I write down like, okay, these weeks I'm working on this project, these weeks I'm working on this project. Like I said, I'm going to be doing projects and products, and so I have like both of those things in mind. And then on top of that, I also added in things like when we're gonna be on vacation and which weeks I want to chill. And I'm doing a summer camp. It's only 4 hours a week, so don't stress, but I am teaching a summer camp for a few weeks in the summer, and so that's gonna give and so I wrote that in there so that I'm just aware that that's gonna be happening, and that'll affect my schedule, of course. And so like just planning it out that way. Now, people have asked me before when I, you know, talk about stuff like this, they're like, how do you decide what to do when? And honestly, the best thing I can tell you is just like pick something, because 90% of the time it does not matter. Like, if there is not a specific timeline for when something needs to be done, then it doesn't matter, and just pick something. So I just went through and like I have some products that are actually good for summer, for anyone doing summer camp, summer, you know, kind of stuff that I already started, and so I just need to finish those up. So I did put those on like the first week to make sure that those are out ASAP. And then other than that, like it really didn't matter when I did most of my stuff. I kind of worked backwards between, I decided like this is gonna be my launch week for I'm making a course for my music people, and so then I worked backwards thinking like, okay, how much time do I need to work on that beforehand, and so like those kind of things. But honestly, most of the time, don't get stuck on like, oh well, should I make this product or should I make this product? Just make a product and just pick one and go. Back to school wise, I would say I go back to school, I don't even want to think about it, y'all. I have to go back to school like the last week of July, and then our kids start, I don't know, August 3rd, 1st, 5th, something in there. I don't remember what day it actually is, but very, very early. So if you're doing back to school products, then you want to make sure those are out as soon as you can, but definitely make sure that they're out, I would say, before mid-July. So that's one thing that I wrote in there was like, okay, I want to make sure that I get all my back to school products out before like July 15th is my cutoff. Would it be better to get them done now? Yes. Am I gonna do that? No. So those are things you can think through. And if you have back to school products, by the way, if you have back to school products now, go ahead and post them. And I'll say this too, if you have any products right now, go ahead and post them. There is no sense, like TPT is not YouTube, it's not Instagram, it's not any of those things where you want to post things in the moment. TPT does better if things are earlier. So go ahead and post products as soon as you can. There is no sense in waiting. None. If it is done, post it now, because the sooner it's up, the more people can see it, the more people can buy it, the more it can gain some traction. There we are. not a lot of people are going to be buying things over the summer, but still post it now, because that way it'll have some time to get some views, get some looks, get some wish lists, you know, all of those things before next year. So that's kind of my like recipe for planning in general, but especially for the summer. I do this often. Sometimes I plan like the whole quarter in advance, sometimes just like a month or two, but just really being practical about what you can achieve is going to be the biggest thing. Whether you're someone who is like me and wants to do all the things, or on the other side and you're someone who maybe needs a little more encouragement to get things done, either way you're still going to want to just like really be realistic about what you can accomplish. So let's review one last time. Brain dump all of the things that you want to do. It does not have to be realistic. It does not have to be like legit, just anything that you think of. Just get it out of your brain. Categorize that into sections. So whether you categorize like, oh, these products go together, these products go together, or these are products, these are blogs, or like however you want to categorize it, just like categorize it so that your brain can think a little better. But always brain dump first and then categorize, because your creative brain and your editing brain are different. So be aware of that. Then get really realistic about what you, then make your priorities. Get really realistic about how much time you actually have and want to have, because I mean, you're on summer break. Technically, you could spend 8 hours a day working on your TPT job if you want to. I don't want to, because I know that I need to take it a little slower so that I'll be ready to go back to school next year. But if you want to, like, go for it. I don't care. Totally up to you what you want to do. Or you can work none, or you can work an hour a day, or you can, you know, whatever you want to do, however you want to do that is fine. And then go about and schedule in all those activities you want to do and things you want to make onto specific weeks to make sure that you know what you're doing and when. And this just takes out a lot of the guesswork of like, oh, should I do this or should I do this? All of those things get ironed out if you already have a plan. That's the main thing about planning for me. A lot of times it's not like creating the most perfect map of everything. Most of the time it's just having some semblance of what you want to do so that you can actually go through and make it happen. So that's my spiel. I would love to know what you're working on this summer. If you have any big projects, any big products, any questions that you have. So leave all those things down below in the comments, and I'll see you later. Bye. Oh, I forgot to mention that once I get all this stuff done, I'm actually going to rewrite it into my bullet journal in a beautiful, beautiful lemony spread that just screams summer, because, you know, your girl just has to do it. But I like to plan on, you know, big notebooks just because I don't worry about ruining them, and then transfer to the bullet journal where it'll be cute and I will actually look at it pretty much every day. Okay, now I'm done. Bye.